Well, I hope everybody is healthy.
Do believe that there are a couple that are recovering for sure. So,
Yeah, it's been crazy.
hey, the one thing I did not get was a list of who's going to represent tonight. So,
Oh,
need to
okay.
help
I
with
thought
that.
that was sent out. So my apologies. I was trying to keep
If
up
it
with
was,
folks here and work from home last week. So,
all right. If it was, I missed it. I
okay.
apologize, but we'll get to it.
All right. What about got YouTube all going?
Hey, Diane,
Yes, sir.
when you signed on, you kicked me off as host. Can you get Joey? He's over there in attendees.
Yes.
Nope,
I will
no
grab
problem.
him here in just a second. Sorry, I didn't mean to like totally kick you out.
Hey, I'm good. I don't care.
Sorry about that.
Should we take a vote on Joey?
I'm not going there. All right, let's see. Let me share my screen and I will go grab Joey, who's been abandoned. No, I don't want to share that screen. All right, I'll get myself all situated at some point in time. All right, don't worry, I'm coming to get you, Joey. Okay, I think we got Joey back. All right, I believe he is in with everybody else now.
I'm here and I heard every bad thing that Jeff said.
Oh. I just had to get everything situated so I could finally get you where you belonged. Grab
Hey,
everybody
Diane,
else.
you might change your name too.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to be you.
And then you got Eric and Lorraine and Laura.
Yeah,
over in
I
the-
just got them.
Okay, I'm gonna sit back.
Thank you. Right.
Hello, can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful, thank you.
Right, and I keep trying to get Eric and Laura over to, I think Laura finally got over there. To panelist. Eric's name is being difficult. I keep clicking to promote to panelist and his name still remains in the attendees. That is so weird. Is there any reason why I couldn't promote someone to a panelist?
Diane, do you have Donna or anyone as co-host?
Nope, I can add her to a co-host. That will make my life easier.
Mm-hmm.
Don, I can see if you have any luck promoting Eric to a panelist. I keep clicking it and keep telling it to do it, and it's not doing anything.
I will give it a shot.
Okay, I think it finally went through. I guess I just had to talk about it long enough.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, yay, you finally got in.
Yes.
Sorry about that. I don't know what the technical problem was.
I wasn't promoted to panelist.
Well, I kept clicking it and it kept not doing anything, so.
Came through eventually.
Yes, it just took a while, took a while for it to send its thoughts to Springdale. All right, I think, do we have everybody?
Hey, Tony's over there.
Just scrolled through and saw him. There we go. This was a lot easier to promote to panelist. I don't know why it didn't like you, Eric.
Uh,
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Hey, Laura, looks like we've got about 30 seconds or so if you want to get yourself situated. I'm not sure if you're going to record this on audio, but we'll be ready here in just a second.
Diane, were you able to set the meeting to record?
Diane, you're muted.
I can see a record button on my screen.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
see one too. I just didn't want all of us doing it.
Correct.
So,
And it's also recording on YouTube. And when it's Zoom like this, it records it perfectly. You can hear everybody.
okay, because I'm not going to set a secondary recording because I don't have the equipment to do that. I'm on a borrowed computer since mine is fried. So,
Well, thankfully someone shared.
yes. And I'm going to stay muted so I don't start coughing in the middle of the meeting until there's a roll call or you need me. Okay.
All righty.
All right.
All right, you guys ready to get started?
I think so. We are on our end.
All right, we'll go ahead and call the City of Centerton Planning Commission meeting, January 18th, 2022 with a roll call.
Okay. We have Jeff Saforth,
And Jeff's here.
Joey Engel,
Here.
Devin Murphy. Devin Murphy's absent. Craig
Oh,
Langford.
He's there.
Oh, he is here. Okay. Craig Langford,
Here.
Amber Beal,
Here.
John Sessions,
Here.
Ben Lewis, and Jerry Harris.
Here.
All right, all present.
And Tony Davis is here.
Oh, and Tony Davis, of course. How could I forget you? Sorry, Tony.
All right, Devin, you want to try another check of your audio to see if it's working yet, or?
Yeah, I had a bite of food in my mouth. I'm good.
Well, you weren't sharing. That's not any good. So anyway, all right, everybody's present. Appreciate you guys being flexible on the meeting tonight with everything going on. Just as a quick reminder, as we make motions this evening, I know even in person we've done a nice job, but as we make motions this evening, make sure we have our name listed so that it'll be a little easier for minutes in the next time. There are no minutes from the last meeting, so we will consider those at the next meeting. The next thing on the agenda is the ratification of the admin approvals, of which there are two. There's two track splits, TS 2125 for Lawrence Simpson and TS 2126, the Quam property. If there are no questions or comments from either the commissioners or staff, I would entertain a motion to approve the ratification of the admin approvals.
This is John. I motion to approve the ratification of admin approvals as prescribed.
This is Ben. I'll second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Is anyone opposed? All right, thank you guys. Under old business, we have the subdivision 2106 Crystal Cove Townhomes adjacent street agreement. This is from the southwest from the corner of Kenyon and Keller Road. It is zoned RTH MF12, 195 multifamily townhome lots, 30.99 acres, and the developer is TriStar Engineering, I guess Swope as well. Who's going to cover this from the staff?
I will. This is Diane, and I'm trying to look for the packet I just made for that and combined in here. And apparently my computer decided it didn't want to do that. And Jeff, did you want to go over the Zoom meeting instructions now or when we do the public hearing?
I'll do them here in just a second when we do the public
Okay.
hearing.
All right. I just wanted to double check since it's been a bit. Now, where did it go? Hang on just a second and I will bring it up. We were working on this until, about 10 minutes before the meeting. So let me go find where it got saved. Oh, I better know where it went.
While you're looking, Diane, I will go ahead and cover these since they're up on the screen. So
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Because we did go virtual this evening, there are going to be 2 public hearings. They actually involve the same parcel. So when we get to the public hearing, there will be a comment section. And there are 2 ways that you can ask questions or share comments or anything like that. And these are listed on the screen here. One, if you did join us virtually, there's a raise the hand button that's at the top. And then once you press raise your hand, then we can recognize you to speak. If you joined by telephone, there is you can press *9 and that will raise your hand. And then you can be recognized. All we see, unfortunately, are the last 4 digits of the telephone. So we'll recognize you by telephone number. And if you do speak either virtually or by phone, we do ask that you state your name and we ask that you state your address and or interest, if you will, in the property that is being discussed.
Okay, am I on mute? Okay, I'm not on mute. All right, Crystal Cove subdivision. Apparently it got saved off in Never Land somewhere. And can you see my screen that I have up there?
Yes.
All right, we did just meet with Phil Swope this afternoon. Like I said, just a few minutes before this meeting. And this is what was finally agreed upon for Kenyon Road and Keller Road. Of course, this is the Crystal Cove Townhomes. It's kind of an L-shaped that meets up with Keller on the west, Keller on the east, and Kenyon Road on the north. And so they would be doing improvements to a portion of Kenyon Road and then a portion of Keller. They will be doing, but now apparently the city of Centerton, correct me if I'm wrong, Phil, from what we talked about earlier, that you guys are going to be doing all of the improvements yourself for Kenyon Road, correct? Oh, let me allow him to talk.
I've hit that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, that's right, Diane. That is what we agreed to.
Okay.
So that's different than what it says here, though. If I'm
correct, because we just worked this out this afternoon, like 10 minutes before this meeting.
okay. So your statement though is different than what's on the screen.
Correct.
So in this case, it says the city of Centerton will widen, providing subgrade and base between between the Keller Road intersection and the property line of Crystal Cove. And the developer will pave 25-foot width, asphalt 3-inch depth, and provide 2-foot gravel shoulders from the
Property line.
property line to Keller Road. I think we really should spell that out just so that if somebody like myself reads that it's clear. And then developer will complete a 25-foot asphalt road with 3-inch step, 5-foot sidewalk on the south side, ditch and 2-foot gravel shoulders on the north and south. Again, I think we should spell this out, but I'm
Center
assuming
line.
that's the center line shall
Yes,
be
sir.
located 19 from the back of curb. The developer will provide a full road profile design with proposed cross drain shown to ensure future development can complete the street section. On Keller Road, the developer will notch and widen mill from the edge to 8 foot. Keller Road along the property line with 12-foot trail, 12-foot green space, back of curb. Is that something in gutter? Is that curb and
Curb and
gutter?
gutter.
Yeah, and
I
center
will.
line. I would like for those things to all be spelled out for all of us, just so it's clear. And the center line located at the property line.
Yes, sir.
Any questions or concerns from any of the commissioners in regards to the proposal here for this Crystal Cove project?
So Lance has his hand up.
Good evening. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
This is Lance Johnson, Public Works. Like Diane said, we just got done meeting with Phil and Diane and the new city engineer, Alan, and myself at 5:45. And what Phil is asking is he wants to stipulate to everything that staff has requested, the 19-foot on Keller with the 12-foot green space, 12-foot sidewalk, and the 25-foot on Kenyon Road with the additional 5-foot of sidewalk going down Kenyon Road. He's asked for a verbal adjacent street agreement due to the time frame. He didn't have time to complete one in black and white. He's asking for a verbal approval from the Planning Commission to stipulate, he'll stipulate to what staff is asked in that. Then tomorrow, the next day, in a quick fashion, we'll do with what is verbally agreed upon tonight, put that in black and white. He will present it to us to confirm that that's what was agreed upon in detail, and then present it to the planning commissioner for signature for approval, pending staff approval. That's kind of what we talked about, and he's agreeing to everything that staff is asked him to put in the adjacent street improvement. It just time frame, it ran out of time.
Okay. Does somebody has their hand up? Is that Phil or is that, I can't tell.
It's Phil.
Okay. Let's allow Phil to speak as well. Thank you, Lance.
He's unmuted.
Hey, yeah, thanks for that, Lance. That's exactly right. The only two changes from this letter that we're looking at now would be that our client is willing to go ahead and do the subgrade and base on Kenyon all the way to Keller. So that's an additional cost we're incurring. The only other small change, there's a sentence that says the center line shall be located 19 feet from back of curb. We'd like that sentence to be removed. We'll work out those exact location details with the construction plans. We're not asking for anything less than what's being asked for by the city. We just want to work out exact locations in our construction plan approval.
Okay. Lance or Diane, do you have any concerns taking that back at curb out?
No, we did discuss that a few minutes ago. And Lance, did you agree that this would shift traffic in an odd way if it was the 19 feet there?
Am I unmuted? Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
No, Keller would still be the 19-foot. What, uh, on Kenyon Road, what we talked about is with them doing the 25-foot, just because we know that that development, here in the near future is going to be developed and that the road's going to be widened even further. What we've talked about is shuffling to make the 19-foot the crown of the road with the additional 6 foot to the north, going down from the crown of the road. That way, when that developer develops to the north, they don't have to mill and reestablish that crown of the road because it's going to be fairly soon. We anticipated doing it and talking with Alan. That's what a suggestion that he had. But there again, in talking with Alan, he said that's something that we can work around and we can talk about prior to the construction plans being put out. But overall, the 25-foot is what we're looking at achieving from this. And then, there was no back of curb on Kenyon Road whatsoever because it was an open ditch plan. And then the addition was the 5-foot sidewalk along their property line on Kenyon Road. So that's where the 19-foot come in. We're talking, we're trying to get that crown of the road established. That way, like I said, they wouldn't have to mill it down and reestablish it. But there again, Alan said it he wouldn't have hold this project up because that's something we can work out and explain, and both sides, come to agreement on how that could be done on Kenyon Road. If that makes
That's
sense.
correct.
All right, thanks, Lance.
Sorry, so this is Alan. I was the engineer just hired, and yeah, I'd say to help expedite it, know that line might change. We'll work that out with that final agreement when it's signed and sent to you to for your signature as well. That little bit will be hammered out and re-detailed, corrected. So that one might change as well. And that's pretty much what Phil was saying. So the two that might change is that first sentence about who's going to do the work between the property and Keller, and then a little bit on exactly how they're going to grade that little bit of upgrade. But that's not something that's going to be a big hindrance. Something we can resolve quite quickly and make sure it's detailed on there appropriately.
Okay. Any questions or comments from any of the commissioners in regards to the street agreement?
I have one. We just heard that the first sentence might change, and then Phil said it was not going to change. That they're going to provide the subgrading base from Keller to their property line. Did I hear that correctly?
If I said that, that's not what I meant, Joey. No, we will change it because the owner will do all the subgrading base himself.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
There was just not time between 6:45 or 5:45 and 6 o'clock to update what was sent out to them earlier today.
Okay. Are there any other comments? I thought I saw a hand up in the community room, which is where Bill was at. Was there a question? Did I see a hand up or not?
Yeah, that was Alan talking to you, Jeff.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure. Well, if there are no other questions or comments or any concerns, that I would entertain a motion for the adjacent street agreement, understanding that there will be a little bit of language change in the first one, and then potentially a slight adjustment from this 19 from the back of curb, depending on the final development.
And then we'll be sure to go in and spell out all the things as requested.
All right, thanks, Dan.
Sorry, Joey.
You're good. You're good. This is Joey. I'll make a motion to approve the adjacent street agreement for Crystal Cove for both Kenyon and Keller Road. with the difference of this presented letter that the developer will provide the subgrade and base between Keller and their property line of Crystal Cove. And then that the center line could be adjusted from the 19-foot back of curb as listed in the letter.
John, I'll second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Are any of the commissioners opposed? All right. Thanks, Phil and Diane, for working on that last minute.
Lance, did you have anything else to say? Okay, never mind. His hand went down.
I didn't catch who seconded the motion. I'm sorry.
It was John Sessoms.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, so now we're going to move on to new business, and we're actually going to make a slight change to our agenda under new business because if the rezone does not get approved, which is B, Bravo, then everything we do in A will be null and void. So we're going to actually do the public hearing for the rezone first, and then we'll do the public hearing for the PUD 2108. So first under new business will be rezone 2136 Stoneley 2 townhomes. It is at 485 East Centerton Boulevard. It's currently RTH MF12 to R4 multifamily. The developer is SAC Townhomes LLC. Ken Block is project engineer, and it looks like Larry Grell is one of the participants as well. So. Donna, is this you or is this Diane? Let's see. Yeah, this is you.
This one is mine.
Is what? Sorry.
This one is mine.
All right. You want to give us a staff overview?
Sure, I can do that. So the request is for RTH to R4MF. You did see this one previously in February of this year. Where it was rezoned from agriculture to RTH MF12. So that was a fairly recent change. There is the concurrent request to the PUD, which you'll be hearing after this one if this passes. The intent is to develop the property as a second phase of the Stoneley apartment complexes, which are immediately adjacent to the east. The high density multifamily R4MF has a maximum density of 18 units per acre. The proposal is consistent with that. R4MF is subject to general regulations and design standards, which is a recent change to the zoning we adopted. The parcels are currently only accessible through the Stoneley apartments, as this is considered a phase 2 of that. We are not seeing any real issues with that. The access to the apartments is off of Centerton Boulevard, Highway 102, which is a major arterial. And so improvements to that would be determined with future plans. Surrounding zoning, it is in the middle of some C2 zoning to the west and to the north, kind of northeast. It is directly adjacent to R4MF, which is phase 1 of the Stoneley. To the south is A1. To the north, across Centerton Boulevard, is some R2 single family. There is McChrystic Creek floodway on the approximately 350 feet of the northern parcel. And there's a 120-foot utility easement that bisects the property. So staff considers R4MF compatible, given its proximity to the adjacent Stoneley phase 1 and its location off of the Centerton Boulevard corridor. For the adopted land use plan, This area is designated as the new downtown center, which is described as the city's active commercial hub. There's a heavy emphasis on mixed use. There is some description for multifamily, but it really is a priority towards commercial and mixed use. So given that the requested zoning is not considered consistent, but it is directly adjacent to the Stoneleigh, and it's kind of on the edge of the downtown center. So it does have the potential to support adjacent commercial within the downtown center. So that's something to consider when reviewing this. So that is the gist of the staff report. If you have any specific questions, there is a wetland, but the general area is outside of it. So if you have any questions, let me know.
All right, thank you, Donna. We will go ahead and open it up to the public now. So with that, I would entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
This is John. I'm motion to open the public hearing for rezone 2136.
This is Ben. I second.
Right, we have a motion and a second to open the public hearing. Is anyone opposed? All right, thank you for that. As mentioned, we are open to the public. Again, there are two ways that you can be recognized to speak, whether that be through questions or any comments in regards to the requested rezoning. If you are virtual, you can press raise the hand. Or if you happen to dial in by phone, you can do *9 and that will raise your hand as well. And so with that, is there anyone that wishes to speak?
We have no
Donna or
hands.
Diane? Donna or Diane, any hands up?
She beat
No,
me to
sir.
it. No, there aren't any hands at the moment.
Okay. Second call for anyone that wishes to speak in regards to the rezone 2136 for the Stoneleigh 2 townhomes.
Still no hands.
And we'll do a third and final call.
Still no hands.
All right. With that, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
This is Jared. I'll make it.
Close public hearing.
This is Amber. I'll second.
All right. We have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. Is anyone opposed? All right. Thank you guys for that. Before we go through the questions that we need to consider, are there any questions or comments from any of the commissioners for either staff or the developer? All right, let's go through our questions that we need to consider for the rezone from RTH MF12 to R4 multifamily. The first one is the rezoning consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan, including the adopted land use plan. If not, why? And I remember back whenever we went through this discussion that this parcel was rather unique with the fact that it had the power lines, it had some water. And so at that time, we also knew that the potential for new downtown to the west would make this a unique piece where, if I remember correctly, we asked for direct access, from the property that would allow for the growth of that potential new downtown. So while directly not, the same as the new downtown area, it would allow for that potential development of the new downtown whenever we went through the first rezone. So with that, I think there's really a mixed, in regards to this. And then I would open it up for any of the other commissioners' comments on that.
Jeff, I agree with you. I think with the shape of the parcel and the adjacency to the existing apartment complex, it makes it a difficult one to not integrate into it.
All right, thanks, Joey. We'll go ahead and move on to the next one then. Is the proposed rezoning compatible with the surrounding area and zones? And I do believe that it is compatible with the fact that it is considered phase 2 with the existing apartments. Again, the west, certainly is commercial, which, we have barriers and buffers and other things in place from a development perspective. So I do consider this to be compatible. Does anybody have any comments or disagree with that? All right, the third one, would all the permitted uses in the new zone be compatible in this location and the surrounding areas? And again, I think it being phase 2, if you will, of the Stoneley, from a multifamily perspective, I do believe that, it would be compatible. Does anybody disagree with that or have any comments? All right, would the rezoning provide a benefit to one landowner but not be considered for other similar properties in this area? And I do not believe that it offers one benefit to this landowner. I believe it is something that we would consider for other properties in the area. Does anybody disagree or have any comments on that? And the last one, if the public is opposed, why? And there were no comments or questions or opposition from any of the public. Any other questions or comments from any of the commissioners before we consider the rezone? If there are not, then I would entertain a motion for rezone 2136 Stoneley to townhomes. Again, it's at 485 East Centerton Boulevard, currently RTH MF12, requesting RF multifamily.
This is Craig. I'll make a motion to approve rezone 21-36 to R4 MF.
It's John. I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and we have a second. Laura, since it was a public hearing, I would ask that you do a roll call vote for me, please.
You might, oh, wait, we have a hand up.
I am trying to pull up the document with everybody's names on it, and I'm not having any luck. I'm sorry. All right, I'm going to try to go from memory. Jeff Seifforth?
Yes.
Joey Engel?
Yes.
John Sessions?
Yes.
Craig Lanford?
Yes.
Ben Lewis?
Yep.
Yes.
Ben Lewis.
Devin Murphy?
Yes.
And who did I miss?
Amber Beal.
Amber
Me,
Beal.
And my, yes.
Tony Davis is a yes as well.
And Tony
Okay.
Davis.
Sorry.
And Jerry Harris is a yes as well.
All right, thank you, everyone.
And
So this
Jeff,
one is,
there is a hand up
okay.
that popped up. You would like me to allow them to speak or?
Yes, let's go ahead.
Okay. All right, the name is R. Will.
Will, are you there?
I'm sorry. I'm with Block Real Estate Services. I maybe clicked this, but I appreciate the unanimous decision. Represent the landlord.
Okay.
What was your name, just so it's for the record, please?
Rick Will.
All right, thanks, Rick.
Thank you. Appreciate your efforts and your time.
All right. Next on the agenda is also a public hearing. And this is for PUD 2108, the Stoneley 2 townhomes. Again, it's at 485 East Centerton Boulevard. As you know, we just rezoned it to R4 multifamily. It is 8.64 acres, 77 units. And Don, I believe this is you again, if you want to give us a staff overview.
All right. So the request is for phase 2 of the Stoneleigh Apartments, as was previously stated. It encompasses 2 parcels. Staff is recommending that there be a lot combination plat prior to construction to simplify the process, make sure that those 2 parcels are combined as it is being done as one development. The uses are multifamily residential. This is consistent with the underlying zoning. With a PUD, the ownership is required to be in single or corporate ownership at the time of filing. This PUD is consistent. The design is proposing access from the existing Stoneleigh Apartments with a series of loops around the townhome units south of the large electrical easement with a spur to the north. And as the development is acting as phase 2 of the existing Stoneleigh Apartments, staff is recommending approval of the reduced side setback to the apartments. So there are a couple of variances which we can make some changes to the setbacks and such with the PUD code. So there are a couple of changes with mostly with side setback. There is a reduction from 25 foot to 15 foot being proposed on the side adjacent to the existing Stoneleigh phase 2. And there is building size. Building size is consistent. Other lot areas are consistent. Lot depth of front setback. These other zoning requirements are consistent. Architectural treatment is consistent. Height of structures is consistent. Fire code is consistent with firewall between each lot. The density is about 9.3 units an acre, which is consistent with the underlying zoning code. There are no accessory buildings proposed at this time. The open space is right about 25%, which is the required minimum for a PUD. There is not really any area in here that is above 15%. So we'll, take a closer look at that. It is staying outside of the wetland area, and we'll look at the permanent open space easement whenever we do the large scale development plan. So we will need to have a wetland assessment done, and there will need to be a floodplain permit. Just to make sure that the work being done is not impacting the floodplain as it is so close. Architectural treatment does need to meet the PUD code, but it does generally appear to do so. We did receive a landscaping plan. There are trees, Joey, quite a fair number of them actually, with some street trees along the internal streets. And then the wetland is not being impacted, so those trees should also be remaining. The PUD parking code recommends 2 per dwelling unit. This is consistent. It's actually providing more than is strictly required. There are entry signs proposed along the entrances, which is a general condition we typically require with PUDs, that signs have to be reviewed, approved by Anthony. As far as suitability, PUD requires that the proposed use of a particular location shall be shown as necessary or desirable, shall provide a service that will contribute to the general well-being of the surrounding area in the city, and shall not be detrimental to the health, safety, and welfare of the persons residing in the vicinity or the PUD as a whole. There are a number of PUD implementation items that this meets. We do recommend that with the site connection to Centerton Boulevard, Fire has recommended that that be brought up to existing code. And there were some discussions with the previous PUD regarding a stub out connection to the south, which I don't know that that has been previously discussed, and I apologize if that hasn't. So that is it for the PUD for Stoneleigh.
So I have a question in regards to the access to the property to the west. Was the intention of that stub out to the north to be able to get that way? Or was Street E, I believe it is, where they put the dumpster at the end of it, intended to go to the west?
Can you bring up the plan, Diane? So where the dumpster is at is not actually Stoneleigh's property. That's the adjacent commercial property.
There's 2 of them on here though, correct?
Yes, there's 2 accesses. So there's the southernmost access, there's a middle, and then there's a cul-de-sac. And the cul-de-sac has an adjacent dumpster.
What is Street E? Sorry, let me move my screen here.
Diane, could you zoom in?
Talking about Street E on the south side, Jeff?
Yeah, is to the right is Street E, right?
I mean, I think it'd be easy enough to take a drive from Street D essentially and make that go south through Street E, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, I remember we had many discussions about being able to connect, especially with it being closer to that new downtown area. That the goal was to be able to connect to the west. Somehow understanding that it may be bike, it may be, we didn't want all the auto traffic, but we did want connectivity there.
We just got the second submittal, and I think that comment might have been missed on the first revision on the first submittal of this. So I do apologize to Larry for not catching that.
Yeah, I mean, I like the north because there's property there as well, but I don't think it gets us anywhere to the west, which is where the large commercial development could potentially be in the future. Any other comments or questions from any of the commissioners before we open it up to the public? All Right. If not, then I would entertain a motion to open the public hearing for PUD 2108, the Stoneley 2 townhomes.
This is Ben. I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for PUD 2108.
This is Joey. I'll second.
We have a motion and we have a second to open the public hearing. Again, at this time, we are open to the public. If there is anyone that wishes to speak, whether it be a comment or question in regards to the PUD, again, there's two ways to do that. If you're joined virtually, you can press the raise the hand button, or if you join by phone, you can do *9 or *9, and then you can be recognized as well. So with that, is there anyone that wishes to speak in regards to PUD 2108?
We have no hands raised.
Okay, second call for anyone in regards to PUD 2108.
Still no hands raised.
And third and final call for anyone that wishes to speak in regards to PUD 2108, the Stoneley 2 townhomes.
No hands.
All right, I would also now entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
This is Ben. I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Tony, I second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Is anyone opposed? All right, we are now closed on the public hearing. Are there any other comments, questions, concerns from any of the commissioners in regards to the PUD 2108 Stoneley 2 townhomes?
The only item I would like to add, the west is kind of a sensitive area for us. I would love to see some trees along that setback area. It looks like there's plenty of room to do that. And then along that south side as well. I don't think it'd be too hard to add some clusters in there on the south and the west side. I think that would do a lot of good in this situation. But thank you for what you've already proposed. I do appreciate that.
So potential trees, of course, the connectivity to the west. Any other comments or questions from any of the other commissioners?
Well, I guess we have one to the south.
Just a
too.
clarification to north on this page is to the left. So
Correct.
South would be on the right.
Correct.
Yeah, I just wonder what benefits we get from the south, because it goes directly south would go to the, yeah, so south is good, sorry, but we also need to consider the west.
For the connection.
Correct.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need both. And now I don't know that it makes sense to get vehicular traffic through the west. What are your thoughts on that, Jeff?
Well, and I know we had that discussion. I would at least like the ability for bicycle, and somehow encourage people to be able to do that, especially with the residences that are in, the current Stone Lake. Of course, you're adding, residents here, somehow encourage them, and I don't know whether that's a stub out from a bike perspective, or, a larger trail that heads over that way, maybe something like that. I think I'd be okay with that. I agree with vehicle simply because it's so difficult to get, in and out, even if we upgrade where the apartment's at. And I definitely don't want, to put a burden on that any more than it already is. So with the south, I think that's important. And then I think some sort of, I'll call it an encouraging connectivity. I don't have any other more creative word to put, but somehow I think we need to, to think about that.
Hey, Jeff, I
This
think
Jerry.
oh, go ahead, Jerry.
I agree with Jeff. I think we need something like that on the west side.
Hey, Jeff, what I was going to recommend is you have Street B that kind of curves up behind let me try to find it, building type A, where it starts to go back to the east and tie back in. Yeah, we already have a sidewalk there. If we could figure out some sort of way to get traffic across and back to the west, I think that would be more of a logical point for some sort of trail connection, maybe a 10, 12 foot sidewalk. It looks like they have room to expand that sidewalk width and then bump a connection out to the west. And to me, that location makes the most sense.
Yeah, I would agree, especially being centrally located like that.
And I don't know if Larry's been upgraded to talk. I know he's in the waiting room.
Something I did forget to mention is that they are looking at potentially putting in a dog park in the utility easement, and there are some plans included here for that. And Larry, any sort of larger trail that is pedestrian access that will count towards your open space total, just as an FYI.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I was going to ask about a wider sidewalk coming from the existing stone lay across the side. Would it be necessary to be wider if there's nothing wider on the north or on the east side to tie into? Or is that just because everybody will be coming to this point to get through into the whatever develops to the west?
Well, yeah, Larry, in my opinion, it's a benefit for the residents of that community to come down, and hopefully it's such a big hit, that continues on through the existing development, and that's something they can link up there. The bike trails are a big deal. We're trying to get linked up with the Greenway, and eventually that would, if we can get that connection west out to Main Street, which could either take them to Allen Road, which we're working on currently, and I don't know if we could have something up Main Street, but that would be a pretty critical link for all of these residents in both the first phase and this phase we're looking at.
So you're thinking about an 8 or 10 foot wide?
I would say 10 foot wide. 10 or 12 is what we typically see on those pedestrian / bike paths. I don't know how much room you have right there. I mean, the critical point's going to be between that building type A and that existing sidewalk, but to me, it looks like you can squeak another 5 right there.
Yeah, there might be a retaining wall there, but yeah, we can look at that.
Okay, and maybe you can flip it to the other side of the road.
Okay. Yeah, we can definitely look at that.
Thanks, Larry. Any other comments from any of the commissioners or maybe any questions? If there are not, then I would entertain a motion for the PUD 2108, the Stone Lake 2 townhomes. Again, it's at 485 East Centerton Boulevard. I would entertain a motion for that.
This is Joey. I'll make a motion to approve PUD 2108 Stone Lake 2 townhomes with the items that we discussed tonight: a potential pedestrian connection to the west, a street sub to the south, along with any other staff comments that are outlined in the PUD or in the agenda document tonight.
This Jerry, I'll second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Laura, this was a public hearing, so I'd ask for a record or a roll call vote on this one as well, please.
Unmute myself. All right. Actually have it up this time. I'll do better. Jeff Seifert?
Yes.
Joey Engel?
Yes.
Devin Murphy?
Yes.
Craig Langford?
Yes.
Amber Beal?
Yes.
John Sessions?
Yes.
Ben Lewis,
Yes.
Jerry Harris,
Yes.
and Tony Davis.
Yes.
All right, I think I got it this time. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Larry. Good luck. All right. Next on the agenda is subdivision 20-01 Brookside Estates final plat. This is at the southwest corner of Brookside and Rainbow Farms Road. As a reminder, it's zoned R3 single family, 142 lots, 39.93 acres. And Diane, I believe this one is you.
Yes, and also we do have Jason Ingalls and Wes Pinkley on here also. So that way you know, since you didn't get your sheet. This is, they are asking for approval of their final plat. This subdivision does have 142 single-family lots on 39.93 acres. And it is located here. Of course, we've got Bentonville to the south, and then, of course, it's in the Centerton city limits. Their covenants have been received and approved by staff. We have received estimates for their maintenance bonds. We did receive the originals today, but they didn't have the date correct. They had them dated on January 14th, and they do have to be dated for the basically effective date to be the date of city council approval. And they have requested a special council meeting for tomorrow. The street and drainage bond, which the amount is approved, is $1,111,603. And the water and sewer is $1,085,710. That is the full amount. Of course, for the water and sewer, it is just 50% for 1 year, and that is the $543,855. They did have waivers with the original preliminary plat. Those were approved by Planning Commission at that time. And of course, those were installed as approved by you guys with the waivers. Their site inspection, they do just have a few punch list items that are pretty minor in nature. I mean, it really was in pretty good shape, especially with our second inspection. They did have a couple of sidewalks and things that needed to be fixed, but they have gotten all of that fixed. They are dedicating right-of-way. Now, this particular subdivision, it was approved prior to the current master street plan being adopted. So you will see that Brookside, Rainbow Farm, and Shell Road, the dedications are 35 feet, which is less than it should be, which it should be in the major collector. I'm not sure why it showed as 70. That should be 80. So it's not quite the full 40 feet on those. They have done improvements to Brookside and Rainbow Farm Road. Shell Road, of course, it wasn't shown on the old master street plan, but they did go along with us on this, on the approved master street plan that we currently have, and have dedicated 35 feet of right-of-way. They did not do any improvements, but we do have that right-of-way. And then they did include a 60-foot flare at the west side. Let me go down here to the plat so you guys can see that, for a bridge that will in the future have to be built here because there is quite a drop off in the grade over here. But we do have the right of way here for future Shell Road. And they do also have a force main. So they are dedicating a force main easement with a lift station, and it's built right here is the lift station, which that has been approved by Water and Sewer, and an offsite drainage easement in the southwest corner. That all of they don't have a typical detention pond, kind of have an area that it flows through and goes to the floodplain that is located right over here in this area to the west. We just received a second submittal of this final plat. So we are waiting for all of our staff review comments. They didn't have a whole lot of comments. A lot of it was just clean up, label this, asked why this was hatched and this wasn't, just, the small things like that. And for the record drawings, again, it was pretty much just labeling and minor type things that needed to be taken care of for those. And based on what staff has, we are asking that the Planning Commission approve the final plat, covenants, and warranty bonds. And of course, those warranty bonds, they will have to reprovide with the correct date on those. And like I said, the engineer and the developer are both here if you have any questions for them also.
Thought I saw Jason with his hand up. I don't know if that was by accident or on purpose. Jason, do you
Let
have
me
something
see.
you wanted to
He has
share?
his hand up.
Actually, I don't have anything to add to what Diane has. I just didn't know if you have any questions, feel free to answer. I feel free to answer you.
All right, thanks, Jason. Any comments, questions, or concerns from any of the commissioners? If there are not, then I would entertain a motion for subdivision 2001 Brookside Estates final plat. Again, it's at the southwest corner of Brookside and Rainbow Farm Road. Again, is zoned R3 single family with 142 lots.
This is John. I motion to approve subdivision 2001 Brookside Estates final plat.
Joey, I second.
We have a motion and we have a second to approve. Is anyone opposed? All right, thank you guys. Good luck, Jason.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda this evening is subdivision 2109 Big Sky, phase 2 preliminary plat. Again, this is at the west side of Walters Road, south of Big Sky phase 1. It's 55 single family lots, 27.6 acres. It is zoned R2. And Diane, I believe this one is you as well.
Yes, that is correct. And we do also have the engineer, which again is also Jason. Wanted to make sure I wasn't getting my engineers confused. And also we have Gavin Edwards on here, who is the developer of this one, just so that you know. This photo here was kind of a general idea of the subdivision. Is not going to go all the way here or south. It was just very hard to figure out how to draw the jagged edge in there. This, of course, is Big Sky phase 1. So they are continuing on here to phase 2 of Big Sky. It includes 55 buildable single family lots and 2 unbuildable retention lots on 27.6 acres. And I know we now have a new R3 2 single family. It is R2 single family, medium density single family residential. And back on May 4th, you guys did rezone this from agriculture to the R2 single family, and it was approved by the council on May 11th. Tonight, they are looking for preliminary plat and plans approval. The adjacent street improvement agreement, I spoke with Jason earlier today, and like a lot of us, they've been dealing with several people out in his office and would like to bring this back to you guys at a later date for your approval. The only adjacent street would be Walters Road, so they would like a little bit more time to look at that, just because they are short-staffed also. And that if approval is granted, it be contingent on our remaining staff comments. The lots range everywhere from 0.30 acres to 0.68 acres, which is a nice size lot, but on average, they're about 0.35 acres. The utility service, they will be connecting to an existing force main in Big Sky phase 1, right around in this area here. And the water will be from an existing water line here on Walters Road. The property does not appear to be within a designated floodplain. Looks like there might be a potential riverine wetlands here on the western edge of the property that's maybe part of phase 2 or right along the edge of phase 2. So we would ask that a wetlands inventory would be required before construction. Whoops. They will have access onto Walters Road. And let me get down here to the plans. And they will also have, here we go, a connection up here into Big Sky Phase 1. My brain went blank for a second there. And then 3 stub outs to the future Phase 3, which would be over here to the west of this particular project. The master street plan, of course, can designate Walters Road as a major collector of 80 feet. Of course, it was completely paved with the pines further to the south and also Orchard Park up here on the east, but they still will have to provide, any additional right-of-way that's required. Like I said, they are dedicating the 40 feet and also any, additional sidewalk, curb and gutter and things to that nature, which they said they will hammer out in the future. There is a detention pond located in this area and also here kind of in this southeast area here. And the drainage analysis has received approval from the city engineer, provided that any existing comments are addressed, because there are still outstanding staff comments, especially on the drainage, but John did say that it was acceptable for it to come to you guys, provided that it is based, contingent on existing staff comments. There is no open space provided with this phase. I believe there is a little bit here in phase 1. And of course, I don't know what's proposed for phase 3 at the moment, but phase 2 does not have any open space currently. And there are still several outstanding staff comments. They're all from, sorry, I'm trying not to make y'all seasick with my scrolling, from John, and they are included in the PC report. And that's kind of a summary of that. Feel free to ask me any questions. And like I said, the developer and the project engineer are also on the call.
Jason or Gavin, what are y'all thinking on Walters right now? I know there was a little bit of dialogue in our packet. What are you guys thinking right now?
So can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to do the 8-foot mill and overlay. And that's shown on our plans. It's just, I don't know if the adjacent street agreement got updated. That's why I asked for that to be voted at a later date. But that, what we show there shows 8 foot from the face of gutter to be milled and overlaid.
I think when we kind of looked at it briefly this morning, we have a meeting with Public Works and Planning just to make sure we're all on the same page and everybody knows what projects and everything are going on. I think they did have a couple of comments on this, but overall, you are definitely going in the right direction, and especially the mill for that 8 feet. I know they're very happy to see that, so we don't continue to have issues like we've had down on Bush Road and Tycoon.
Yes. And I'd also, oh, go ahead, Diane, I'm sorry.
I know we did say that we would like to see you list out in the adjacent street agreement anything that will be done within the city right of way. Any kind of improvements that will be done in there.
I would just like to add that there are a few comments from the city engineer. Those have been addressed and were resubmitted electronically and paper copies delivered today. City staff has not had a chance to re-review those, but like Diane said, John is in favor of this being approved tonight based on addressing those comments, which will just be reviewing what we submitted today. And then also, Diane, I'd also like to add about the riverine. We did get a jurisdictional determination from the Corps, and that was found to be non-jurisdictional. even though it is shown as a blue line on the map. Those maps are not always correct.
Correct. That's why we do just ask that you at least check into it. And I do think that I saw that with this latest submittal that I just haven't had a chance to sit down and really look at.
And we can provide that document that outlines that to you.
Okay. Yeah,
thought
we just
we'd
ask
already
that
done that.
everybody, double check. I mean, it's a guide that, it gives us an idea if there might be something there, but, like you found out, it's not, which is a good thing.
Okay. That's all I have. I'll answer any questions you have.
Thanks, Jason. Any comments, questions, or concerns from any of the other commissioners? If there are no other comments or concerns, again, they're asking for preliminary plat approval this evening. We will consider the adjacent street agreement at a later meeting, I think, once details are finalized, so that we'll have a good picture of what that is. So this evening, what they're asking for is for the preliminary plat approval. Again, it's 55 single-family lots zoned R2. If there are no other comments or questions, that I would entertain a motion for subdivision 2109.
This is Joey. I'll make a motion to approve subdivision 2109 with the outstanding staff comments.
This is Ben.
Craig, I
I'll
second.
second.
All right, we have a motion and we have a second. Or is there anyone that's opposed? All right, thanks, Jason and Gavin. All right, next on the agenda this evening is subdivision 2120, Annika Estates Phase 2, final plat. This is the south side of Holloway Road, adjacent to Annika Estates Phase 1. It is 67 single-family lots, just over 17 acres, lots 73 through 140, and it is zoned R3. And Donna, I believe this one is yours.
That's correct. So this is phase 2 of Annika Estates. The covenants were previously recorded during phase 1, and there are no changes needed. We have received bonds since this report was updated. The streets are $186,783.75. Drainage is $300,006.96. Water and sewer is $384,818.50. We received the full fee payment during final plat approval, so there was no need for additional money during this phase. There were some waivers that were approved, a 10-foot maintainable area around Lot B, that was approved during preliminary plat. So there are minor site inspection items left, general site stabilization and some additional compaction tests that are needed by building safety. Other than that, the site's in good shape. This is phasing approved during preliminary plat. The adjacent street agreement, there was a swale that was adjacent to Holloway Road, as well as new 5-foot sidewalk. Those have been completed and accepted by staff. The fee in lieu has been paid. There were right-of-way dedication completed with phase 1. We're still waiting on some comments from the staff, Morrison Shipley's, from CEI surveyor. Otherwise, we don't have any comments regarding the final plat. And there's really limited comments on the record drawings and drainage report. Generally labels, clarifications. The drainage report has been approved by staff. So we need planning commission approval on the final plat and the warranty bonds. as the covenants have already been approved.
And
Any-
this one will also, they will be part of this special meeting for city council for approval tomorrow also, just so you're
Correct.
aware.
All righty, thanks, Donna and Diane. Any comments or questions from any of the commissioners? If there are no comments or questions, then I would entertain a motion for subdivision 2120, Annika Estates Phase 2, final plat. Again, 67 lots, just over 17 acres.
This is Amber. I'll make a motion to approve subdivision 21-20 Annika Estates.
This is Joey. I'll second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Is anyone opposed? All right, thank you, guys. Next, under other business, there is a TriStar Construction rezone discussion.
Once I find a way to unmute myself. This is, they're looking at y'all's favorite property on Main Street that has been looked at several times. We do have Elizabeth Oakes on here. She is with TriStar to talk about it. I just received this kind of basic idea of what they are planning on doing. This here is Main Street, and then this would be a loop around. And I will go to our map real quick so that way you guys can see where it is too. Switch my screen view. It doesn't help if I can see it, but y'all can't. All right, just to give you guys an idea. And then I will let Elizabeth talk. And my map has been incredibly slow this week, so my apologies. And that's bad considering it's only Tuesday. All right, it is. Come on now. Come on, Plat. I guess Elizabeth, I'm going to go ahead and, where did you go? Allow you to talk about it. And hopefully my parcels will come up sometime this century.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so we asked to be on the meeting tonight to discuss this property. We're looking at it to develop it. It's 2 parcels. It's totaling 10 acres. It's been previously submitted to you guys, I think 3 different times now, and was not successful. We sent this conceptual in kind of as an idea of what we were thinking would work there. The land use plan does show it all as commercial. The conceptual that we have sent in, and we've got roughly 3.5 acres highway frontage of commercial, and then 15 60 by 100 single family lots behind that. I think the previous submittals too, they had requested either multifamily 12 or duplexes, something multifamily. So we were thinking single family might be better here. But we just kind of wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this. Any feedback, if you felt like this would work, what you would like to see here. We're kind of open to suggestions on it.
Yeah, like I said, this
Diane,
is Main Street, and I'll see if my map will cooperate with me now. But what did you need, Jeff? I'm sorry.
So remind me again, I know we've seen this at least twice, if not 3 times. I just want to make sure that we don't give guidance or direction based on something we've already denied in the past. And I know part of it was a mix like this. I can't remember if there were any single family. It seemed like there were maybe some duplexes. Do you have the record of what all we have denied?
Donna, do you recall? Because those were all Donna's projects. So I will let her answer to that one. But if the properties, they're right in here. I don't know why my parcels are not coming up. we'll just refresh and see if that
We
works.
can only see the PDF, Diane.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to screen share again. My bad, you guys.
This is on Main Street. It's just north of the PUD that we just did. So this
Yeah,
is the
that's-
property. It's just over 9 acres, I think, that we've seen a couple of different times in the last year. It's just before you get to the sharp corner on Main Street.
So I can pull up specifically what the zoning requests were, but I believe at first it was RTH MF, I think. It was entirely residential the first time. And then I think it switched to R3 and a little bit of commercial, and it was withdrawn. And then I think the last time it was R2 and a little bit of commercial, and it was denied. And I can double check that, but it'll take me a little bit.
Yeah, it's the parcel's right around in here. Again, I don't know why this layer's not coming up. It should be. But yes,
Coming from memory, I believe we were wanting to see commercial. Is that not correct?
I believe that is correct.
I believe that's correct as well.
Correct. Yeah, that's what the land use plan shows on the GIS.
Which I can get that to come up. I just can't get the parcels to show up.
Yeah, which Elizabeth, I don't know if you're familiar with the property that's to the south of this. That's a large parcel that is going to be pretty much all commercial, including what I consider neighborhood commercial with some retail, gym, I believe. Actually, there's some storage and some office along with a daycare from a proposal. And so they were actually able to fill up a larger parcel than this with all what we consider commercial, again, neighborhood type. And so I guess my guidance would be if twice now we have declined to have some residential be a part of it, kind of in a mixed use, then I would say that this is probably not something that would get approved just based on history, because, you know, we would want to make sure that we're consistent.
And you have stunned her to silence.
Elizabeth, are you still with us?
Yep, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
We can now.
Okay, good. Nope, that's what we needed to know. So we didn't want to, submit this again and it not be something that gets approved. So that's just what we needed to hear. So we will try and do something different that reflects neighborhood commercial.
Yeah, and it's consider some of the other PUD type things that have gone in. Certainly, that area is has a lot of residences around it, but we would certainly like to see mostly commercial, in that area.
Sure. Yeah, I did notice there was, on the comments on the others, the concerns with the traffic and everything else of that nature. So I appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Elizabeth, if you haven't seen it, I would recommend getting with staff and trying to get a copy of that PUD that's just to the south of you. I believe it's 20 acres.
Okay. Yeah. Diane had mentioned that to me previously about, what all was going to go in down there. So I'll meet with her again on it.
Yeah, and I can happily send that to you also.
Okay. Sounds great.
And approved.
All right. Thanks, Diane, Donna, Joey. Under announcements, there is a tech review on 2-3, which is actually after our next planning meeting. There is a special council meeting tomorrow evening, as was mentioned. They'll be considering the 2 plats that we did this evening. Then our next regular scheduled planning commission meeting is 2-1. What I would do is say, I would just encourage you, to be flexible. And again, I appreciate the flexibility this evening, in regards to going virtual. So I would plan on in person unless you hear otherwise. But our next meeting is scheduled for 2/1, and the next council meeting after that is 2/8. Any other comments or anything from staff or any of the commissioners?
This is Jerry, I was just curious, any idea when we're gonna get into the new building?
Mayor
I
Bill's
can
on.
answer.
Go ahead,
So,
Bill.
yeah, so I just got contacted. Some of our furniture is going to start arriving this week. So to answer your question, we hope in the next 30 days or so. They're finishing up the AV system stuff over there now. They still got some other things to do, but we hope within the next.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor Bill. Anything else from staff? If not, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
This is John. I'll motion to adjourn planning commission meeting.
David, second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Is anyone opposed? All right, thank you guys. Have a good rest of the week. Be safe.
And thank you guys for being flexible. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Diane.
Yes,
Thank you,
appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.